Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for National Engineers Week volunteer orientation. It's going to be a great morning. We have a lot to share with you. Very excited to get started. Quick introduction for myself, and then I will turn it over to our chair. But I'm Liz Walker. I serve as the Director of Workforce Development for ACEC Indiana. Many members from ACEC on the call today, so excited to see all of you, as well as our partners from NDOT, DPW, and other organizations that are helping us out here too on our contracting side. So just really excited to see all of you and share some information about the National Engineers Week program, how we conduct our classroom visits, how you sign up. And then, of course, at the end of orientation today, we'll give you all the sign-up pages to do that. So without further ado, excited to introduce our opening speaker, Dave Wichman, as our K-12 committee chair for the year. Take it away, David.
Morning, everybody. Again, reiterate what Liz said. Thanks for joining. I think this is, our keystone event that, from the K through 12 committee. I'm the chair this year, and I'm really excited to share what we do for National Engineers Week. So we'll go ahead and kind of jump right in here. So a little bit of background on National Engineers Week. Just a little bit of history. It was founded in 1951, EWeek, as it's more commonly known as a way to increase the understanding and interest in engineering and technology careers. So here in Indiana, ACEC celebrates EWeek with classroom visits, and this is our 13th year of classroom visits, which is really exciting. And it's really an opportunity for us to showcase what is in the engineering field and really to help inspire that next generation, allowing for, that curiosity and creativity to share that experiences with others. So one of the things that this program has been doing is our 13th year, but it's really been growing exponentially here in the last few years. So back in 2025, this was just last year, it was a record-setting year. We had, over 200 classroom visits. We reached out to over 7,000 students, which is just amazing. We visited 40 counties throughout the state, and then we had almost 200 volunteers. And we also did a few TV appearances, so we got a little bit of online exposure, which is really exciting. So all of that, building on that from last year, this upcoming year is even more exciting. And I think one of the things that we wanted to reiterate is not only the excitement for the program growing. So this year we're projected to hit over 8,000 students in 46 counties, almost 250 classrooms, but it's really the need for volunteers. So again, it starts with you guys. Thank you for being here. This is kind of like square one. Last year we, projected just right at under 200, if we can get, just a few more, we're going to need a few more this year. 215 volunteer hours is kind of what we're looking at needed. So a lot of really exciting things that EWeek has been building towards, and I think this is truly making a difference. I know it does for myself personally, but also for the students themselves. So a little bit of background on the mechanics of, the information that we collect from the teachers. So how we got to this point here. So really this effort starts in October and it runs through December. So we have a listserv of teacher contacts that we reach out to yearly, focusing on, we have elementary, middle school, and high school students or teachers, along with STEM teachers, really to help maximize that outreach. So it's an existing listserv we send this out to, and they sign up for classroom. So we collect information, not only, who they are and what class they want to be visited, but we also try to collect a lot of that initial background information, such as, what the parking information is, the background check, what the technology needs. So a lot of that information that we had put on the volunteers in the past, we try to collect that on the front end to help hopefully make that a little bit smoother. So to get a little bit into the actual classroom sign-up process. So last year was the first year that we did that. We're going to do it again this year as we're using Sign Up Genius. And we're organizing those similarly by region or NDOT district. So you have the Northeast, which is Fort Wayne, Northwest, which is LaPorte, East Central, Greenfield, West Crawfordsville, and Southeast, Seymour, and then the Southwest, which is Benson's district. So really kind of spreading those out to make it easier process for everybody to sign up. So, you based off of where you're located, you can go to that specific link and look at all the classroom times there. We also have Google Maps, and this is more for a visual reference. So you can kind of see these are all of the classrooms. I think Liz updates this all the time, getting it updated. But it's really a cool visual tool to show what parts of the states that we're really reaching. So obviously in the Greenfield district, and we have a strong concentration in the Indianapolis metro area, as well as Fort Wayne is more well represented this year than ever before, which is really exciting, and also down in the Southwest. So I think more important than previous years, we're actually seeing a lot of growth in some of those more rural counties, which was one of the targets for the committee. So you can kind of see that we're starting to spread out a little bit, which is exciting, but it also goes back to that need for volunteers. So
If I
this
could
is a little,
interject,
yeah,
the
go
only
ahead.
one thing, yeah, the only one thing I would add here is that some of them might look a little lower to you, like West Region, for example, 14 classrooms, that seems pretty low, but a number of those teachers that requested us to come back for the year actually asked for the same volunteer. So I went ahead and pre-signed them up, and so they're not going to be reflected in the numbers you see on the screen. There's, 15 others that they like their volunteer so much they asked them to come back, and so I honored that request and have already paired them up, and so they're not listed here. But I just want to show that as a sign of, you guys do a great job when you go see these teachers, and you make an impact on them, and they want you to come back. And so I've made that a little easier for teachers to ask that of us as a program, that, if you really like somebody, you can name that volunteer by name and firm, then yes, I'm going to do my best to pair you up. So just wanted to share that as a little tidbit that, if something seems lower on here, I've already kind of subtracted some from this to kind of demonstrate to you, this is what's open as of this morning, but I've already filled over 40 of them just by teachers wanting the same folks back. So go ahead, David.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think the next slide will show a little bit. So this is actually what you're going to see if you're familiar with Sign Up Genius whenever you go to sign up for the classroom. So like I said, each of the NDOT districts will have a specific link. So what you're seeing here is the East Central region or the Greenfield district. But based off of where you're located is what link that you'll want to go to. So it's our primary goal to have at least all classrooms have one presenter or engineer guest speaker. And part of that new for this year is we eliminated the co-presenter slot. A lot of those slots went unfilled last year, and we really wanted to increase the number of exposure. That's not to say that you are not allowed to have a co-presenter. We actually strongly encourage that. So matching up either with a coworker or a client, I think that's a great way to share experience, and actually is more engaging for the students themselves. So not that we're discouraging co-presenters, but we just didn't have a specific slot for them. So if you've done EWeek in the past and you've always done it with someone and you've always signed up at that same slot, you can still do that. It's just there's only going to be one primary contact for that teacher. We also encourage, a lot of the teachers did sign up for back-to-back classrooms, maybe smaller size, so like a 30-minute window that were different classes but back-to-back. We do encourage volunteers, if time allows in their schedule, to try to sign up for multiple slots of those. A little bit of consistency with the teacher makes it a little easier to coordinate on all the details. And like I said, so when the teachers do sign up, they give us a lot of this background information. And so we wanted to really reiterate to use the Google Sheet. So Sign Up Genius will have their class times. It'll have the school that you're going to. It'll have the date. But what it won't have is like all the parking information, your contact information for the teacher. All of that stuff is located in the Google Sheet. So that's really where you need to get a lot of that information from. And Liz, if you can back up one slide, I did forget to mention that all of the times that are listed in Sign Up Genius are on Eastern time. So even if you're in a location where the school is on Central Time and you're in Central Time, the time slot in Sign Up Genius is in Eastern Time. That's just due to the function of Sign Up Genius and how it handles things. And so we wanted to be consistent across. So again, just that Liz will probably say it later. I know she will, and I just want to reiterate that these times are in Eastern time. The Google Sheet, however, does have the time zone. Is that correct, Liz?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Another comment about the Google Sheet. This has all of the information that teachers give me in advance when I review every one of their classroom visits is in this Google Sheet for you. So please make use of it. Feel prepared when you reach out to your teacher, because that is on the volunteer. Once you select a classroom and you choose the date and time you're going to visit a school, you can find their contact information in the Google Sheet, and it's on you to reach out to that teacher and make that connection with them. And that's how we forge these really great partnerships with teachers, and they want the same people to come back to them as they build that rapport, they build that relationship. They know me from emailing them often and making sure they have all the details they need and they sign up correctly and all of that. But the real relationship is built with you. And so just reiterate that they have given us a lot of information already. Use that when you're reaching out to them and getting everything sorted for your visit. So, well, thank you, David, for providing kind of the beginning of this program and where we get to today, right? So we've been doing this since October. We've got our K-12 Education Committee working hard on a lot of materials. I'm happy to preview some of the new things for you today. But where do we go from here, right? As soon as orientation is over, we will open up the sign up pages for you. Shelby's ready to drop those in the chat when that time comes. But before we do, I just want to make sure you understand all the next steps that are important for you as a volunteer. So in our Google Drive, I will show you a screenshot of that in a moment. It's linked on our website. I will link it again for all volunteers here in the chat as well. But this is where you find everything that you need for eWeek. We've got a volunteer checklist for you to go through. Everything you need when you're preparing for your visit, common questions to ask teachers, common questions kids will ask you if you're going, especially in elementary setting when they've got some very curious minds, things to prepare for. Whether or not you are going to need a background check for a visit, that is something we ask for in advance, and it is reflected on that Google Excel sheet. So just make sure, again, if you are, they're a month out from today, but some background check processes take 3 weeks. So make sure that you're paying attention to that. If there is a comment in that box, there's a background check form you got to fill out, get on that right away. So that's not tripping you up there at the last minute. Parking arrival, all that stuff, whether the school's under construction. These teachers are really thorough. They provide you a lot of information, what door to enter, all of that stuff. So you should have it. Make sure you're utilizing all the information available to you. And if it's not, just ask. Just ask your teacher and they'll give you everything they need because they're excited to have you out. So a couple main things to hit on the volunteer checklist specifically. Please contact your teacher when you sign up today, no later than Friday, January 30th. So 10 days. You can do it. It's important that we reach out to these teachers several weeks in advance. One, background check and all of those things that may take time, but just so they know that you're coming to their classroom and you're excited to go see them. There will be classrooms that go unfilled today. There will be some that go unfilled until the 30th. And so I will be, part of the reason you indicated when you registered what region you want to volunteer in, if there are gaps, I'll be calling. So hoping that all of them are filled by the 30th, but if they are not, the teachers know that that's a possibility. And so I'll be on top of that, monitoring, making sure every classroom is signed up for. But ideally, if you know where you're going, if you've got a classroom chosen, you're signed up for it, make sure you're contacting them by the 30th of January. Also double check the time zones. As David mentioned, Sign Up Genius has a mechanic of their own. When you create an account, you have to choose the time zone you live in. So Eastern time is the most common here. So those that are in our kind of western regions of the state, Northwest and Southwest, you'll notice that things that are on the Google Sheet may be an hour off in Sign Up Genius on purpose. So just kind of be mindful of that. Then anything you see in Sign Up Genius is in Eastern time, and know that when you live in that time zone, as David does and many others, that you're often dealing with that time zone difference. So just be mindful of that. use the volunteer checklist to your advantage. Make sure you've got everything covered. Get your presentation prepared in advance. We provide all the templates for you, handouts, activity pages. I'll go over all of that. Share all of that in advance with your teacher. Make sure that they're aware of what you're going to be talking about. You know how many students are in the class. You know if they've asked for a hands-on activity or not. That's all in the Google Sheet. So when you're reaching out to that teacher, you know, do that with information available to you. Get to EWeek, absolutely crush your presentation, be amazing as you all are, and make sure that when you're with those students, if photos are allowed, make sure you take some pictures that day or have the teacher take a photo of you so we can put that on social media. Your firm can put that on social just to kind of hype the program up, and be sure to utilize our social media toolkit when doing so, because we've got a lot of graphics and fun stuff prepared for you there. For elementary age students, we have a slide deck. We actually have two versions of various things. We've got a slide deck, and we also have an activity book that the K-12 committee has worked over many years to refine and get to a good place. Many teachers have indicated they will print these materials for you, again, in the Google Sheet. Check that out. So if you've got a group of students that want to do some activity pages and you want to talk through it, the activity book is available. You've got templates available for a standard slideshow. We've also got recommendations for activities. So again, you get to kind of choose your own adventure in terms of the interactions you're having with these kids and how it's going to work in that classroom. The teacher may have some suggestions for you, but we provide the material to you and you get to choose what you want to do with it. So work with your teacher, figure out what is going to work best for you. You may have a classroom that is 100 kids. There are several assemblies that were requested this year. You're not gonna be able to run 100 kids through an activity, but you can put a nice slideshow up, add some photos, and make it really compelling that way. So again, it all depends on the group that you're going to and how many students you're working with. Similar for middle and high school, we've got a middle school as well as a high school presentation deck prepared for you. We've got multiple handouts. Again, you can print these out. The teacher often will print them out for you, so be sure to look and see what they have there. For activities, we've had a subcommittee working for many months to kind of pare down the big list of recommended activities on Discover Engineering. It's a nonprofit organization we partner with. They have a great library of activities, and we check them out and look at all they have to offer. But we've picked our top 5 here, and we've got those in a whole separate PDF. There are active links in this PDF that take you directly to those activities, kind of in an overview of what they are. So again, we had a group work on that and appreciate their efforts. We also had over the last year, some folks on our higher education and workforce committee develop these, we're calling them cut sheets or career profiles, especially for those middle and high school students is kind of what we had in mind here, but career profiles that, especially for students that, if you're talking to a group of students that's more in a shop class or they may not be interested in engineering, we've got these other career profiles to provide. And you don't have to print all these out. You can just link these to the teacher, give them to them for free. And if they want to give them to the students, they can. We've got 3 available now, CAD technician, construction inspector, and professional surveyor. Those are in the Google folder currently. And by the end of the month, I'll have a civil engineer and an environmental engineer in there as well. So again, trying to arm you all with as many resources as we possibly can to make this whole journey a little easier for you. Some other things we've got in there on the right side, the Engineering for Educators handout, that's just a nice leave behind for teachers. If you want to leave them something at the end of the day to say, hey, we kind of prepared this for you. On the backside, it's not pictured here, but on the backside, it's got some information about ABET, engineering colleges and stuff. So just a nice thing to leave behind for the teachers. If you want to leave your own business card, and again, you're ideally volunteering somewhere in your local community, so you're able to build a relationship with that teacher and that school, and feel free to do that outside of the EWeek experience and visit that classroom more often. I would love to see that. We also have, it was asked of us this year to provide some sort of photo release or waiver. I do not need this. This is not required by ACEC. This is not required by our program at all. You don't need to have this for your firm. It's only if a teacher asks that of you. It's just ready for you. So it's in the Google folder. Again, optional, only if a teacher needs it from you, but it exists just so you don't have to go and create one yourself. So all the things that we've shown you, it's all available in the Google folder. You can scan this QR code to get there. I think I've got it linked early in the presentation, but we'll be sure to email it out if we need to. It is also linked on our EWeek page on the ACEC Indiana website, so you can access it there as well. But again, template, slide decks, handouts, activity recommendations, the outreach template for teachers. We didn't talk about this, but we've got a template email for you to use for teacher outreach. We've got our social media toolkit. I didn't dive in too much into that, but we've got graphics, recommended social posts, all of that. That's all in the folder as well. We also new this year have a section in that social media toolkit for press guidance. We did have a lot of media appearances last year, and we plan to do that again. So if you, as a volunteer, are approached by a member of the media, don't panic. First of all, contact your firm's communications department and follow the recommendations of your firm. Communications, marketing, what have you, just inform someone at your firm and then inform me as well. So I know that a local news channel is reaching out to you. And if you want to defer that to me, if you don't want to engage, that's fine too. I'm happy to take control of that and make that happen. But at the end of the day, a lot of these news outlets just want to share the good word that we're doing something great for our community, and our schools are engaged in career development and they care about career growth of their kids. So overall, it's not bad to be contacted by a member of the media. I went to 2 classroom visits last year and they were really fun. And the news crew, you could barely knew they were even there. They're just capturing some B-roll and took a few interviews in the hallway. Don't stress about it, but also we've prepared some guidance for you if that arises. So again, reach out to your marketing or media department at your firm as well as me, and we'll make sure that you are prepared for that if that's what you want to do. And if you also want to defer that, I will take it, and it'll all be well. As a reminder, all volunteers as a part of National Engineers Week will receive a PDH. This is from 2024, so a little dated, but we will get you a new one for 2026. You do earn 1 PDH credit for your service. It's not 1 per classroom. It's just helping out gets you a PDH. So we will be sure to distribute this at the end of National Engineers Week in February. So keep an eye out for that. We do know that that renewal licensure is coming up with the biennium. So be sure that you're getting those records together, and just know that you do get 1 PDH for helping out as a part of National Engineers Week. So thank you for your time in doing that. A couple additional requests I want to point out to you. They are in red font on the screen. It's obnoxious and loud for a reason because they are in red font on the Google Sheet, and you'll hopefully have noticed that. All of these requests fall outside of our traditional EWeek dates and or format, but they were asked of us by teachers. And again, we're trying to expand our program and expand the number of teachers engaged. So I want to try to honor that. And so we've got several classroom visits asked of us in Bloomington at the project school in early February. Notice that is February 11th. So it's in Sign Up Genius like every other classroom, but just know that it's February 11th and get on top of that as soon as possible if that's one you're interested in. Because again, we got to make sure that that one's filled quickly and someone gets out there before EWeek actually happens. So they were busy during EWeek, had some conflict. So this is when they can have us, and we want to try to make that happen for them. Same thing in Newcastle. March 5th instead of regular EWeek. And Jay Everett, our friends at DPW, are going to cover that one. So thank you for that. So that's already checked off. We've got that already covered. But just know that all these in red they fall outside of the EWeek time. You'll see that in the Sign Up Genius pages. Just be aware of that as you're moving through the Google Sheet and the Sign Up Genius pages. Final reminders. Check your time zones, especially in those 2 regions we mentioned. Everything defaults to Eastern time. Google Sheet has them listed. I have copied the times requested exactly as written into Sign Up Genius. So if it's like starts at 10:02, that's real. That's what the teachers put in there. That's what's in Sign Up Genius. So just again, make sure you are utilizing that resource as you sign up for classroom visits today, and be mindful of any of those time zone changes you might come across. Kind reminder that classroom signups are on a first come, first served basis. The only time that we make an exception to that are when a teacher asks for a particular volunteer to come back to their classroom. I honor that. If someone is related to or a relative of the teacher or their kids are in a particular class, I honor that as well. Otherwise, everything is first come, first serve. And we really hope that if your favorite school is already picked by the time you get there, no hard feelings. Try to find something else in your nearby area or branch out a little bit and drive an extra 10 minutes to a different school. We really appreciate all of your efforts to be here and help with this program. It's not guaranteed that you get the exact school you had in mind. But there are a lot of options available to you more than ever. And so really appreciate your willingness to be nimble and look for other opportunities if the one that you had your heart set on gets filled before you get there. So just be mindful that everything is a first come, first serve basis. We also, again, we'll make available to you in the chat the Google Sheet. You should have already had that if you're a registered volunteer, but just make sure that you're utilizing that. We've got, if you're unfamiliar with the NDOT districts themselves, again, we've got the NDOT district map linked on our site, as well as the interactive Google map of all the classrooms. So you can kind of zoom in and out and see where those are located. We're going to release Sign Up Genius pages shortly. We'll get those in the chat. And again, reminder that the contact deadline for all the volunteers on this call that select a classroom today, contact those teachers by January 30th, and National Engineers Week itself is February 22nd through the 28th. That's when all these classrooms will take place, except for those 3 that I mentioned that are kind of an outlier to that. With that, happy to, oh, one last thing. For those ACEC members that are on the call with us, we do STEM outreach all year long. We work really hard in both the K-12 Education Committee as well as the Higher Ed and Workforce Committee through ACEC. We've got very active members there that conduct these outreach events, STEM days. We do stuff with Girl Scouts. We're at the Children's Museum. We're doing all kinds of cool stuff all year long. We're doing all kinds of things. I send out a bi-weekly update. Twice a month, I send something out highlighting all the volunteer opportunities that are available, things that we're excited about, events coming up. So please, if you're an ACEC member and you really enjoy National Engineers Week, I would encourage you to get at least on our workforce updates listserv. So every 2 weeks, you're getting some sort of notice about what's going on in workforce. And it's not just volunteer for this. It's also, here's some workforce updates from our ACEC National Office. Here are some other partner organizations that are looking for some engineers to come in. So it's not just Liz going on a ramble for every 2 weeks. It's really insightful stuff about our workforce industry and information that's just viable for you if you're engaged in this work at all. So highly encourage our members to sign up for that. If you're from NDOT, DPW, et cetera, you want to be receiving those, I'm happy to also forward them to you. So let me know that and we'll get you squared away. But just a reminder that EWeek is 1 week out of the year and we do this all year long. So would love to see you all engaged beyond just EWeek and see you more often at some of our other outreach events too. So with that, David and I are available for any questions you may have. I have seen some things come through the chat and maybe Shelby can help truncate down or help us navigate those questions first. And then if anyone does have other questions, we will have you kind of come off mute and just fire away. But this is before we release everything. Anybody have questions about the process or anything else today?
Liz, there was a question in the chat, if you can clarify.
Sure.
Michael asks, it seems that some of the schools on the map are not on the list. Should those two match? Is that because you had some people from your committee grab those? That's why they're on the map, because we are presenting at them, but they're not available for sign up. Can you clarify that for some of the volunteers out there?
Yes. So that's exactly right. Some of those classrooms have either been claimed by the teacher asking for that same volunteer to come back. That's most of them. And those on our K-12 committee were able to sign up a day early. So some of those have already been taken by them too. But otherwise, yes, if you actually are in the Google Sheet, I think you can unhide. They're listed in there, but they're hidden because the names are already covered. So, but yes, that's if a school is on the Google map and they're missing from the Excel sheet, that is why, that they've been either requested by an original volunteer or they've the teacher asked for that volunteer to come back, or our committee members grabbed it. So that'd be the two scenarios. You're exactly right.
Great, thanks. And then we have another question. This will probably come up multiple times in the chat. So David mentioned encouraging volunteers to sign up for back-to-back classes. We have a question if we should go ahead and have our volunteers sign up for those back-to-back slots right away, so there's or wait for so that there's more to go around. What's your guidance on that?
That's a really good question. I would say if kind of David used the example of like a 30-minute classroom, usually it is easier to just have one person cover 2 30-minute classrooms back to back. You don't need to cover 6 that are in a row, or 5 or 6 that are in a row, but like 1 or 2, maybe 3 max, just to help ease that transition between classrooms a little bit, just to have one person in there instead of 3 different people over those, that hour and a half. If I also respect the notion that yes, there's a lot of folks wanting to help out and there's only so many classrooms to go around. So for today's purposes, if you know that, hey, I've got an hour and these 2 are directly back to back, I'll take them both. That's great. And then maybe leave the rest for others. But if you come back a couple days later and keep looking at the list, hey, that one's still unfilled, I'll go ahead and grab that too, or something. So I would probably say for today, maybe keep it to 2 or 3 max, just as a back-to-back selection. And then, kind of be mindful too of how long that commitment is. If it's a 90-minute presentation, you might not want to do back-to-back presentations for 90 minutes. So just be mindful of that as well, that it's usually those shorter visits that it's the most helpful to have the same person do them back-to-back. But also can appreciate that there are a lot of folks that want to help out. And if one person is doing 10 classroom visits, that's hard to spread them out. So good question. So for today, probably 2, 3 max. And if it is still open in a couple days, go ahead and grab more. How's that? Anything else?
There is a question in the chat about the photo release waiver.
Yep.
I know that's just in there as a template. So for that volunteer that put that in the chat, I would recommend you taking a look at that photo release waiver. I think that is required from some schools, whether it's the actual school taking the photo and sharing it. And I think it's just the parent's going to be the one to acknowledge whether they accept their student or their child to be in a photo from an outside source, correct?
Right. And 9 times out of 10, the school is going to have a waiver. Like I think that's important to kind of outline, is that majority of the schools have their own waiver that encompasses outside organizations like ours coming in to take pictures of their students. So I'll say 99% of you won't even need to look at it. It's just there if a teacher says, we need a third party waiver too. And we've made one for you, but it's not something I need. It's not something you need to submit at all. It's only if that teacher specifically says we have to have a third party waiver in. So, but 9 times out of 10, that teacher is already going to have one on file for every one of those kids, because that's just standard process when students start school in the fall.
And that information is in the Google sheet. Like
Yes.
we try to collect that, and it's not, I mean, you can always reach out with that question to the teacher too.
Right, exactly. So, okay, well, David and I are going to hang online for a little bit. I want to make sure we give everybody time to sign up for classrooms. So we'll stay online for any other questions that come up. If you are happy with the information that you've received today and you have all your questions answered, you can sign off now. And really thank you for your time helping us out with National Engineers Week. We love to see the partnership that forms between ACEC members, our public partners, etc. So just happy to see all of you. Shelby's going to start putting all of those sign up links into the chat feature for everyone, and you can focus on the district that you want to volunteer in most and shoot offline and do that. Otherwise, David and I will hang online for a little while, and if you have questions, we're here. But thank you for your time today. We really appreciate your your energy, your excitement. I've had a lot of emails come across my desk over the past week, just wanting to know more about the program and can I sign up? Is it late to register? No, we're happy to see you. Happy you're here. So thank you for all of your efforts to get us here and for signing up. And I will be sending regular communication to folks that do sign up for classrooms. So just know that you're going to hear from me again if you need anything from us. We're here, and hopefully the resource you need is already made and it's in the folder, but if it's not, I want to be helpful in that regard too. So David, did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I think we kind of covered everything, or at least I hope so. Again, I do want to reiterate myself, just thanks for volunteering and encourage others to sign up as well, because we do have a lot of classrooms this year. So get the word out to your coworkers.
Thank you, everybody. If you're
Thank
content
you.
with, yeah, thank you, of course. If you're happy with the info you got today and you no more questions, you're free to sign off. We'll stay here and answer anything that comes up. I'm already getting lots of emails and notifications that you're signing up. So thank you for that. Excited this is my favorite part. I get ding, 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 ding all over my phone this is all of you signing up for all of these visits. So thank you so much for that. We'll hang online for a bit and answer questions as they arise, but otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone.
There is a question here
Go ahead. Yeah.
about does the second presenter go through Sign Up Genius? No. If there's only one spot for the primary, so if you've coordinated with a secondary presenter, just coordinate with them kind of offline. We do need their email information for PDHs.
Yeah,
to send
I would say,
PDHs out, but that's
yeah,
the only reason, correct, Liz?
That's right. Yeah. If you could just let me know if you're co-presenting with somebody, that would be great. And if they are eligible for a PDH, to be honest, the certificate, there's so many of you, the certificate's blank. So as long as you forward it to that person and, they're by your ethics and honor, put your name in there, whether you volunteer, that's great. But, it would be good for me to know how many volunteers are engaged and if you do bring someone along with you, especially if you're working with, and if you're bringing along a client or someone from the public sector, would love to know who's engaged there. But really for my purposes, there's no sign up genius process for that. It was a little clunky and we decided to forego that going forward. But just let me know if you're bringing someone with you. And I'll throw them on my list, make sure they get that PDH certificate directly, or if they don't, you can always send it to them as well. I see a comment in the chat. The recording will be downloaded after today. It takes a little while for processing, but I'll make sure that's up on our website, and I'll also send it to all registered volunteers before the end of the week. So we'll get that recording out to everybody. It'll just probably be hosted on YouTube or something, and we'll make sure everyone has access to it by the end of the week. Thank you. Cool. Thanks, everybody. This really is my favorite part, looking at all of the amazing folks signing up and getting all the email notifications. It's wonderful. I guess I'll end our conversation today by just putting this slide up. I end every presentation with it for EWeek or any of our outreach events, just as a soft reminder of what we're doing here and why this work matters and the kind of impact that you make as a volunteer when you're going into a classroom setting. We talk about this in committee a lot, that, how did you find engineering? How did you decide that you wanted to follow this career and that you wanted to do this when you grew up? And it almost always begins with somebody visiting their classroom. You had a random stop at a STEM event that you hadn't really planned on, and a lot of people stumbled upon civil engineering. And I think it's important to acknowledge that what you're doing when you go and talk to these kids is you're encouraging them to do great things when they are when they grow up, and to consider a big career path that makes a big impact on the world. And so just kind of keep this in the back of your mind as you're talking, especially with those younger kids that are excited about what they want to be, that this is, this is an industry that changes the world. All of you do that on a daily basis. And so just bear that in mind when you're talking with these kids, that this is what we're here to do, is to encourage kids to be game changers, world changers. And it's important work. And so we just really appreciate your time. Thank you.